to the beginning of viewing the world through a new lens. We are standing on living ground where evidence meets truth to set us free. If you enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Disclosure Day, new 2026 Steven Spielberg film is what we're going to be discussing. Here's what I want you to think about. Is the movie Disclosure Day really about disclosing extraterrestrial evidence, or is it inverting the book of Revelation to further the alien agenda? I always like to take everything back to the source. Break things down all the way to their beginnings. So I tend to look up words, like definitions, to see their variations. I find that most words have at least 2 or 3 definitions to it. So when I go and look at the word disclosure, we see the first definition is exposure, which is like it appears that they're talking about in the movie. But that second definition of revelation, I believe, based on the context of the movie, that it may seem like it's about exposure, but it's really about revelation. Not just about revelation, but about the inversion of the book of Revelation. What they are saying in the movie is that instead of the book of Revelations being a divine event, the enemy is trying to turn it into an extraterrestrial psyop so that we'll fall for the Antichrist when he comes. How does alien mind control work? Let's discuss this for a minute. We're going to be looking at this through the lens of the Bible, the movie, and also what I know about DID, SRA, and mind control. Demonic exploitation of DID is what these so-called aliens are doing to facilitate human mind control. So we have the actual God-given ability to dissociate when we need to. It helps us to survive situations that may seem impossible or things that we feel we can't escape. The enemy exploits that dissociation so that they can control your mind. He tricks humans into using their imagination and dissociation to build demonic structures inside themselves. These entities, aliens, whatever that you want to call them, they require a human vessel in order to bridge the physical divide. See, these beings only really exist in the spirit realm. They're not corporal. They do not have human bodies, but they want human bodies. Their greatest desire is to get a human body. The irony of this is that they tell us that these beings are higher beings. They have all this wonderful technology and intelligence that us mere humans just aren't capable of understanding, right? The funny thing is, the aliens that they show you in the movie, all of them are injured, they're weak, and even the main one, the one in charge doing the mind control, can't even come on stage without humans pushing him in a wheelchair. And we're supposed to believe that these are higher beings with all these wonderful special powers that we want to try to achieve, and they can't even walk. I mean, I don't know about you, but I find this entire idea ridiculous. And this just shows you how bad the programming is, like how prevalent the programming is. So many people are in awe of these entities. They want to be abducted. There's UFO cults everywhere. They've been UFO cults for years and years. Like, why? That's my question. I always think, why would I want to be like that? Why do I want to only be able to speak through my mind and not be able to actually walk on my own and move myself around? No one ever stops to consider that. They are not all powerful. They are not anywhere near as powerful as humans are. These entities, they are only in the spirit realm and cannot have anything to do with the physical realm without a human host. So they do not exist on Earth without human help. So they have to manifest inside a physical vessel that has been compromised. So they bombard humans with constant programming to trick us into accepting this inversion, believing the opposite of what's true, believing that these are higher beings, they're somehow stronger and better than we are, when really they're not. Okay, just like we see in survivor systems, people with DID are what I'm talking about here. The same structure has been set up in the character Hugo Wakefield. He is the body's host presenter part, okay? He is, in the movie, he works for Wardex, the company that controls all of the information about aliens. They're the ones that cover it up for the government and hide it, okay? He is the director of biological assets for the Wardex Corporation. Once he has been implanted with an alien device like nanotech, mRNA, all the things that they're constantly trying to do to us, so that he can receive the information, because once again, we see here that these beings can't do anything without us. Not just that, they have to alter us, or more likely, trick us into altering ourselves so that they can get anything accomplished. Now, he is connected, directly connected through a device to the demonic alien AI interface. The two main characters in the movie, Daniel and Maggie, are his two main core parts in charge of the system. So understand this. You have Hugo, the host presenter of the body. Daniel and Maggie are two main core parts inside his system. Daniel and Maggie actually remind me of Adam and Eve. When the serpent approached Eve in the garden, she listened to him, and then she spoke on his behalf to Adam. In the same way, we see this in Disclosure Day. Maggie speaks for the aliens. She doesn't even know what she's speaking yet. But when she has that first interaction with the cardinal, when she sees the bird, a cardinal, which is a symbol that we will get into later, an activation of programming, then it activates her, and then she automatically begins speaking in foreign language. And even when she goes to work to do her weather report, she starts making that clicking sound, which is a mathematical computer code AI language. And let's stop for just a second here, because we've mentioned the word AI a lot. People hear about AI all the time. But let's think about what AI is. It is artificial. By its very definition, it is fake. It is not real. The only basis it has in reality is what we give it. And I think that we tend to forget that. Now, she doesn't understand any of these things that she's saying, but Daniel does. He understands that. So, just like the core parts that are trapped in survivor systems, they just do the job that's assigned to them without understanding what they're doing or what the other parts are doing. They simply do the job that they were programmed to do. Maggie is the same way. Her assignment in the system is to use her job, role, whatever, as a Kansas City TV meteorologist to reach the masses with the information that she speaks. So She is the part of him that has to come out and speak. Now we move over to Daniel. Dr. Daniel Keller. He's the only person in the entire movie who can understand that demonic symbolic language, that sacred geometric AI language of the Kabbalah. Not only does he understand it, but he can translate this language to write computer code for the Wardex company. So his job is to write code, which is, understand me, a mathematical language of the Kabbalah. It uses sacred geometry. It uses what they call advanced math. He understands this, he translates this, and he uses this to protect the information. The job that his part has is to translate this alien language into computer code in order to secure the information that the Wardex company is protecting for the military. So, just like Adam, he listens to what Eve says and he understands what she says, and then he takes what she says and he applies it. So I hope everyone is following me here with this. Please feel free to ask any questions in the comment section as they arise. Trauma provides the architectural framework for infiltration. So, in survivor systems, part of the way that DID is created is that they cause trauma, which opens the person up to disassociate and create a part to handle that trauma. And they try to split that part as many times as they can, create as many parts as they can, parts inside of parts. That's what they do. During this entire movie, you see Hugo slowly constructing a house. That's the way that it works inside a survivor system. The occult programmers build a structure inside your mind so that they can get in between you and God. Because we have to understand this. God is always right there beside us. The only way that we are separated from him is when we allow the enemy to come in there in the place. So what they do here is they trick you into making an opening. And with every opening, they get in more and more. So there can be, we don't even know the highest number of parts that there could possibly be. And I know that that sounds scary to people, and it can be really confusing, but it's the way. It's like you're building a house. You can continue to build that house your entire life. You never have to stop building your house. That is their goal, to constantly build this house and make this house, this structure, so tight. Like there's so many doors, you have no idea how to get out, because the doors that they put in the structure just trap you more. So what he's doing here in the movie, while he's building the house, he is activating, or the occult, whichever it works out, is activating Daniel and Maggie to do things to help him build this house. The ultimate goal to get them there to the house. Because when he gets those two parts, he brings those two parts back together to do a false integration. And I say false integration because when you're working with people with DID, the idea is to get all the parts, to cooperate with each other, to come together, to realize that they're all pieces of the pieces of one whole, and to come together and reintegrate. Like everything else that the enemy does, he inverts this. So instead of making it a process to get your freedom, he's making it a process to further trap you. So Hugo has these two parts. One can speak the alien language, one can translate the alien language. The only way for him to be able to both speak and translate so that he can get the message out to the entire world on the broadcast is for those two parts to come together and do this false integration. In the movie, they use animal avatars to execute the code for the human mind control programming. So, in the movie, Hugo says when Daniel and Maggie are seeing all these animals, he's like, don't be afraid. They show up as animals, so not to frighten children. So let's look at a couple of these animals symbols. Because remember this, these alien demon, these beings, they do not have physical bodies. They cannot get a physical body without us. So they cloak themselves as a lesser being, like an animal. In this instance, they use a cardinal. There's a lot of significance to them using the cardinal in this movie. Because first of all, a cardinal functions as direction, movement. We all know about the 4 cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west. So when you see a cardinal, when Maggie sees a cardinal, it gives her direction. Because in the movie, she saw a cardinal and then she knew she had to go north because she knew north is where Daniel was. That's because the cardinal was the trigger that activated the programming. Then there's also a fox. So let's look at the symbolism of a fox. A fox is a deceiver, a mind hacker. Much like they make Daniel in the movie. Daniel is a hacker, a computer hacker. That's why he's on the run, is because he has hacked the computer interface at Wardex, and he has all of their digital evidence. What the fox does is it bypasses your defenses in a very smooth way. It's very tricky. It doesn't even need any force. So that's why they show the fox. Then there's also a deer. The deer is the ultimate victim. It's paralysis. It triggers that freeze so that it causes you to have a deer in the headlights response so that you freeze your free will entirely. So see how all of these work together in tandem, and they bring one and then they'll bring another to reinforce that one and another to reinforce that one. It's a cycle that keeps you trapped, because the goal is to keep you trapped in the cycle so that you're so distracted and so busy running around, going back and forth, looking from one to the other, that you never look for a way out. You never question that you're in a cycle. The final stage, inhabitation and the new reality. So remember earlier when I talked about us moving ourselves and leaving an opening between us and God for them to get into? That's what they're doing here. They want the vessel to be vacant. They want us out of our bodies. They want our minds to leave the physical realm, the earth, and for us to go into the spirit realm where they are so that they have room to get inside us. They want you to have a complete loss of autonomy. You don't know who you are. Think about the way that parts work. Often a part comes up and other parts don't even know that part was there. That's what they're doing. They're making you leave your body for as long a time as possible so that they can get as many parts, as many fragments as they possibly can in there so that they can separate you and push you farther and farther and farther away from God. So, like, their ultimate objective is to permanently inhabitate a body in the physical realm. They want to manipulate the physical realm so that they can expand their influence over all of humanity. They cannot do this without us. They need a device, a computer interface, an artificial intelligence. They can't just go in us and program our mind and everything that they want to happen. They have to transmute and try to alter God's creation because they know that they cannot create. They can't make humans. They can't create these sentient beings that humans are. They want to do that, but they can't do that. The only way that they get anywhere near the humans and get anywhere near being human or achieving humanity is by getting in the cracks, pushing those cracks as far as they can, pushing you as far away from God as they possibly can, so that they have more and more room to get in. The ultimate goal is not just to control you, but to completely replace your consciousness. They want to create an interdimensional bridge, one that forces you to manifest them, and they can operate freely within your body and within our world. That's what they're doing. This is why the movie is dangerous. Anyone who has alien abduction programming needs to stay away from this movie. It's very dangerous. All of those symbols and things that I have been speaking about, those are triggers. They are put in that movie just to activate you, to activate that programming, to push you farther away from God and give the enemy more room to get inside you. That is the goal here. This is what they do with movies, with television. This one just happens to be particularly dangerous because I immediately saw the connections to this movie and DID and the way that the enemy sets about trying to destroy the human mind, the human consciousness, and tricking us into thinking that we are a less powerful being, that we are less than. There are things out there that are greater than us. And that's simply not true. Because God created man in his image. The enemy cannot create, and they certainly cannot create in God's image. And they know it. So what they try to do is destroy it. They can't destroy God, and they can't really destroy humanity. But what they can do is trick humanity into destroying itself. That is the danger. So, my point is this. Disclosure Day is the enemy's counterfeit of revelation. It is the script for the great deception. And all of the people who fall for this great alien deception that's coming are going to be much more likely to fall for the Antichrist. That is why I put this information out. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe and let me know what you think. We'll have a lot more content coming soon here on Standing on Living Ground. Thank you for watching.